Hello everybody, my name is Tree Company and here is Jigokudani in Noboribetsu, central Hokkaido. Obviously, Sapporo is the main city of this island, but I think Sapporo has just few things to do, so it is not very attractive. But travel destinations like Otaru, Biei, Furano and Noboribetsu, they are really fantastic and gorgeous. In this video, you will learn about them.
Our first area to explore is the central, inland part of Hokkaido. Asahikawa, Biei, Furano are our destinations. They cover the plains and some mountains on our trip around Sapporo. The distance from Sapporo is about 130 kilometers. It is shorter than a distance between Los Angeles and San Diego. First of all, Asahikawa is the main city of this central part, but here is Hokkaido. The population is quite small. Only 350,000 people. It basically snows here and is colder than Sapporo, so the snow accumulates for a really long time and a lot. If you go in the winter, you will get tired of seeing snow in a first day. Asahikawa is famous for two things. The first one is the zoo. This is the #1 zoo in Hokkaido, beating out Sapporo Zoo, which has 6 times the population. And there is Penguin Walk in the winter. Otaru Aquarium does the same thing. And second famous thing in Asahikawa is shoyu ramen. The original Tokyo shoyu ramen is a chicken broth and soy sauce combination, but Asahikawa shoyu ramen is a complex soup with pork, chicken, and seafood. The complex savory of the soup is impressive. My favorite shop is Ramen Aoba. I dare say it's the best ramen in Hokkaido. There is also Ayako Miura Literary Museum and a few other things, but not many people spend much time in Asahikawa. It's a halfway point between Biei and Furano. For now, just remember 2 things, zoo and ramen. The plains below are Biei and Furano. These 2 neighborhoods are similar in geographically, but in terms of travel, they are a little different. First of all, Furano is Furano City. Biei is a smaller municipality, Biei Town. So the sites in Biei are more natural. The 7-star trees, the Ken and Mary tree, the Christmas tree. At the Great Snowy Mountain to the east, there's Aoki Blue Lake and Shiroage Whitebeard Fall. Furano, on the other hand, is more civilized. Ningro Terrace in the southwest, the lavender fields of Palm Tomita. There are places that has been created by human hands. Of course, that's the general tone. At the foot of Great Snowy Mountains leading up from Kami Furano, there are hot springs like Fukiage. It has just a short distance south of Whitebeard Falls in Biei. Here's a map of them, and I will give you seconds to watch this. In terms of transportation to get here, the railroad, we have a Hakodate line which runs from Sapporo to Asahikawa. This one starts in Hakodate, goes through Niseko, Otaru, and ends up here. Then there is a Furano line which goes from Asahikawa to Furano. Furano also has the east-west line called the Nemuro line, but you don't need to know this right now. Anyway, it's hard to get around the area by public transportation alone. The city of Asahikawa is fine. It's a city of 300,000 people, so you can get anywhere by bus. But in Biei and Furano, there are many places that are difficult. Of course, you can go to some places, for example, Ningro Terrace, where there is a hotel and ski resort. You can take a bus from Furano Station to get there. And another example, the Whitebeard Waterfall with a hot spring. You can also take a bus from Biei Station. But Ken and Mary Street, which is in the middle of nowhere, bus doesn't go to a place like this, and it's too far to walk. And it's a lot of work to get back and forth between different neighborhoods. You have to take a train from Sapporo to Asahikawa, and then you transfer again and come to Biei and Furano. From there, you take a bus to your destination again. You might visit only a place in a day, but there are so many wonderful places. That's why a bus tour from Sapporo is so popular. They just pick out the famous places and take you get there directly. Actually, if you don't mind both driving and high cost, rent a car is the best option. You can wait for off-peak hours and you can go to secluded places for yourself. Otaru, the most relaxing and accessible suburb of Sapporo. It covers smaller town part on our Sapporo suburb trip. It is really close to Sapporo city. It's only 35 kilometers and there are lots of trains and buses. It is safe to say that Sapporo and Otaru are almost connected. There are two main points of Otaru city. First, there is a famous Otaru canal. Second, you should remember Sakaimachi Street, a modern shopping street nearby the canal. The short distance to Otaru make its travel affordable. And there are more things to do than Sapporo, depending on the person, and the city has amazing atmosphere. Otaru hits all three beats. Stay tuned for a dedicated Otaru guide video coming soon. It's going to be a great video guide. Noboribetsu is Hokkaido's famous onsen hot spring. It covers onsen part near Sapporo. Ryokans and onsen baths are one of the dream of traveling in Japan, right? The straight line distance from Sapporo is 80 kilometers, but the middle is mountainous, so you have to go around a bit by car or train. So the actual distance is about 110 kilometers. There is a railway station with the same name, but onsen town is a bit inland. This is the famous place, so there are a lot of group tourists and there are lots of big ryokan, onsen hotel. It's usually compared to Yufuin in Kyushu, Arima in Kobe, and Hakone in the Tokyo area. What are the characteristics of Noboribetsu compared to these other famous large hot spring towns? First of all, it gets a lot of snow in Hokkaido, which is snowy region. If you go in winter, you pretty much guaranteed a white hot spring town. Akita and Niigata is also a huge snowy area with many ryokan, but it's not very popular to foreign tourists. And there is a big geyser, Hell Valley. This is the biggest selling point of Noboribetsu. Compared to other geysers like Beppu and Nagasaki Onsen, Noboribetsu Jigokuni is definitely more magnificent. Other than that, you can take a quiet stroll around Oyunuma Pond route, and there is a small shopping street with a romantic view and a bear park too. For ryokan descriptions and more details, please wait until summer. I will make a whole Noboribetsu guide. This hot spring town is very popular for travel, so it's easy to get there. There are plenty of buses to and from Sapporo, as well as direct buses to New Chitose Airport. It only takes about an hour and 50 minutes to get to the airport, so the location of hot spring is great. Then there is Muroran, a smaller destination connected to Noboribetsu. The city itself is just an old port industrial town, but two cliffside observation decks facing the ocean are stunning. Chikumisaki, aka the Cave of Earth, and Toshoriko. Getting there by public transportation can be a bit tricky. You have to take a bus from Bokoi Station on Muroran Main Line and then walk to the destinations again. It's only convenient for rental car drivers, but it's cool. It's really cool. Lakes are a bit more minor than previous three areas. When you travel in Sapporo, you go to Otaru, you go to Biei and Furano, or Noboribetsu Onsen. The lakes are less traveled, but the scenery is fantastic, and there aren't many travelers. So if you do go, you will feel like, oh, you've made your own precious memories. Let's explore Toyako first, which is a bit further away. It's large lake with 70 square kilometers, and the 34th G7 summit was held here in 2008. There are 2 points of interest. First, there is a small hot spring town in the south called Toyako Onsen. The other is Ukimido Park in the northwest. Let's take a look at the scenery for a while. but the public transportation is absolutely hopeless. You can take a bus from the nearby Toya station, but limited express Hokuto from Sapporo to Toya is expensive, and you might give up everything else just to get here. So it's only an option for rent-a-car driver too. Unfortunately, despite the gorgeous scenery of Lake Toya, it's only number 2 on the list of central Sapporo lakes, because there is a lake Shikotsu. First of all, Shikotsu has a much better view. 2 big mountains, Mount Eniwa and Mount Fufuji, surround the lake, and you can see them from Shikotsu Onsen on the east side of the lake. But the moment you see here, you can't help but think, wow, this is Hokkaido nature. You can hide your admiration. It's also a hot spring town, so there are ryokans too. Even better, most people come here by car. No, the only way to get here is by car. And there is a great road surrounding the lake. So the driving experience is fantastic. I think this is the best scenery in Sapporo and central Hokkaido. In terms of location, it's close to Sapporo and airport too, so to getting there is easier than Toyako. Although there are no public transportations, but if you rent a car, you can tie Shikotsu with Noboribetsu. You cannot do it without a car, but it's a risk that pays off with a big reward. Our final destination is the highest peak in the south central Hokkaido, Yotei Mountain, with 1,898 meters above sea level. Its nickname is Mini Fuji. The terrain is similar, right? It gets a lot of snow and you can get a great view of Mount Yotei in the middle, so the surrounding mountains has become one of the Japan's premier ski destinations. The main town is Niseko. There are famous ski resorts like Grand Hirafu and Harazono. It's probably the most upscale in Hokkaido. You will find some international luxury hotels that you won't find in any other ski areas in Japan. Park Hyatt, Ritz-Carlton, Hilton, which I mentioned in the Sapporo pros and cons video, and there is a Westin in Rusutsu on the other side. But Niseko is much more crowded and famous. The reason is obvious when you look at the transportation and sunlight direction. First of all, transportation in Niseko is much better than Rusutsu. There's the Hakodate main line in town, so you can get there by a train from Sapporo or airport. It makes Niseko has lots of hotels, so there are many buses too. Rusutsu is smaller because there is no railroad nearby. In addition, Niseko ski resorts faced east, so it gets lots of sunlight, but Rusutsu faces west, so the sunlight is less favorable. Anyway, if you look for the best ski area, not the one close to Sapporo, you can look around Yotei Mountain and the surrounding areas. The easiest ways to get around the region, the rail pass, is a simple way to get around Hokkaido on JR. Especially in the other parts of Japan, there are many private railroads that cannot be used with JR pass. But in Hokkaido, all trains are JR, so the pass is simple. There are 3 types of passes, all of them cover Sapporo, Otaru, and airport. First one is Noboribetsu area pass, which only goes to Noboribetsu. Second is Furano Pass, which covers Asahikawa, Furano, and Biei. Finally, just Hokkaido Pass, which covers all of Hokkaido. And before we get into the efficiency of each pass, we need to know what limited express and local trains are. Local or regional trains will stop at every station. But some people want to get to the major destination quickly. That's why the limited express train runs. Japanese limited express trains has their own names. Kamui and Lilac are limited express between Sapporo and Asahikawa, and Sapporo between Noboribetsu has Suzuran and Hokuto. Of the Kamui and Lilac is a bit longer. Then Suzuran goes to beyond Noboribetsu to Muroran, and Hokuto goes to Hakodate in the end. And the Suzuran and Hokuto are so popular, so every seats on train are reserved. Even if you have a pass, you have to reserve a seat on the website or a ticket machine, or you should stand in the train. Now let's take a look at the efficiency of each pass. First, the 4-day 9,000 yen Noboribetsu pass. The first day costs 1,100 yen to get into the airport. On the second day, you have to travel to Otaru and back, 1,280 yen round trip. The third day is 4,205 yen to get from Sapporo to Noboribetsu. And finally, 2,640 yen from Noboribetsu to the airport on the last day. That's a total of 9,270 yen to get to the main places. But if you want to save your money, there is better option than railway pass. You can travel by bus between Sapporo, Noboribetsu, and the airport. The train from Sapporo to Noboribetsu is about 4,250 yen, but the bus is only 2,400 yen. Noboribetsu to airport, 2,640 yen by train, but 1,800 yen by bus. So Noboribetsu area pass was not very efficient. Next up is Furano pass. How is this? Here are the prices between Asahikawa, Biei, and Furano. The round trip between Sapporo and Asahikawa is almost same price with pass. So some rides between Asahikawa, Biei, and Furano, and Sapporo to Otaru, Sapporo to airport, they feel like free. But you have to think about this. You can go Biei and Furano by pass, but it doesn't mean it's easy to travel there. Like I said at Biei and Furano part, you go to the station easily, and what's the next? I am a total individual traveler. I hate group tours. I'm happy just to ride to the train. Then the pass is worth. But if you want to just visit many places easily, Furano Biei bus tour is more fit for you. Then travel Otaru by yourself. The final option is the All Hokkaido Pass, which is ridiculously expensive than others. Sometimes a round ticket between Tokyo and Hokkaido is cheaper than this. Of course, this pass is not for people who are going to places like Furano and Biei, Noboribetsu, Otaru. It's for people who want to go really far. Limited Express Hokuto between Sapporo and Hakodate is 9,000 yen one way. The Limited Express Ohotsuku from Sapporo to Abashiri, 10,000 yen one way. But first of all, the absolute price is too high, and the demand to travel Abashiri and Nemuro is low, let alone Hakodate. When people think of Sapporo, they think of Otaru, Noboribetsu, and Biei Furano. They don't think Kushiro, Nemuro, Abashiri. And if you take a train to go far, the riding times are too long. A one-way trip from Sapporo to Abashiri takes over 5 hours, even on a limited express. So much of your precious travel time is spent on the train. This pass is for those who really want to get every corner of Hokkaido. Now for the rent-a-car, it's even more adventurous than the train. You can expect to pay around 7 or 5,000 yen a day for a small-sized car, and you need an international driver license, of course, and some insurance, and additional costs are gas, tolls, and parking. First of all, the tolls from Sapporo to each region are as follows, and the gasoline is around 150 yen per liter, and parking is more expensive in the center of Sapporo and cheaper on the outskirts, so you can expect to pay around 800 yen a night for parking. There are different routes for different people, but let's just go to the famous one. So we drive for 4 days, we'll spend 35,000 yen for the car and 10,000 yen for the toll. The map shows less than 600 kilometers, but if you actually go where you want to go, you will drive more farther. That thing is 700 kilometers, and you can go 25 kilometers per liter of gas. So the gas cost is 4,000 yen, and finally, parking for the 3 nights are 2,000 yen. So totally is 50,000 yen for 4 days. You can compare roughly, right? But renting a car gives you a special experience. When you go to Noboribetsu, you can go to Muroran, you can go to Shikochu Lake. You can stay as long as you want at the famous spots. Group tour guests, they cannot do that. I hope you think about this carefully. So there you have it. Mountains, hot spring, plain, lake, and a small city near Sapporo. Let's summarize what we learned today.
Yes, this is it. Now you learn about amazing travel spots near Sapporo. I think one place is not enough. Please try to visit 2 or 3 places and you will get unforgettable memory. This place where I finished this video is Ken and Mary's tree at Biei. Thank you for watching this long video and thank you again.